All right, so we're going to do the second part of 9.3 today. So we have products and quotients of complex numbers. Okay, so what we're saying is if I asked you to multiply two complex numbers together, what would the answer be? Okay, so if I said 5 cosine 30 plus I sine 30 times 3 cosine 50 plus I sine 50, right? What would happen when I multiply these two things together? Okay, I like to think about it as exponents. If we were going to multiply x to the second power times, let's make it 3x to the second power times 4x to the fifth power. Okay, we know that that means we have to multiply the 3 times the 4, but we have to add the exponents, right? We don't multiply the exponents, we add the exponents. That's exactly what's happening here. So if we're multiplying two complex numbers, we're going to multiply the r's, but we're going to add the degrees. Okay, same thing if we were dividing exponents. If I went the other way, if we had 4x to the fifth divided by 3x to the second, right? We would divide the numbers, but we would subtract the exponents. So we're going to divide the r's, but we're going to subtract the thetas. So, for example, number 1 here wants us to find z1 times z2 and z1 divided by z2 in polar form. So let's start with z1 times z2. So if we're going to multiply these two, we're going to multiply the r's. So we're going to take the r10 times the r7. And then we're going to add the degrees. So 50 plus 20 gives us 70 plus I sine 50 plus 20, 70. Well, 10 times 7 gives us 70. So we have 70, shorthand, CIS, 70. Now it wants it in polar form. This is polar form because we have an angle R and theta. So we are done. Okay, now z1 divided by z2. I'm going to take z1's r, which is 10, and divide by z2's r, which is 7. And then we're going to subtract. So 50 minus 20. So 10 over 7 cannot simplify. Shorthand, CIS 30 degrees. Okay, number 2, it wants us to multiply and divide, but this time we want our answers in rectangular form. So we have z1 times z2. So we're going to multiply the r's, CIS, and we're going to add the degrees. So 7 pi over 12 plus pi over 12. So that gives us 21, CIS, 8 pi over 12, which can simplify to 2 pi over 3. Now, if it said polar form, we would be done, but because it says rectangular form, we have to find what our x and our y are. So we're going to do 21 times cosine of, what am I doing? This is a unit circle value. We don't need to use our calculators. So we'll have 21 times cosine of 2 pi over 3, which would be -1/2, plus 21 times sine of 2 pi over 3, which would be positive root 3 over 2. I, of course, if there's an I here, there better be an I here. So that gives us -21 over 2 plus 21 root 3 over 2 I. Now we'll have to do the same thing with z1 divided by z2, which I'm going to leave for you guys to try on your own and check your answers online. Okay, last thing. So when we're doing de Moivre's theorem, that's saying we're taking z and taking it to a power, right? So I want to do z squared or z cubed, etc. Well, all a power is multiplying it by itself. Isn't a power just advanced multiplication, right? It's multiple multiplication. And when we multiplied our r's and we added our thetas. Okay, well, if I'm going to do that multiple times, adding multiple times is just multiplication. And multiplying multiple times is just exponents. So if I want to do z squared, I'm going to take my r and square it, and then I'm going to do CIS 2 times 60, right? And it's a 2 because it's a squared, and it's a squared because it's a squared. So that gives us 16 CIS 120. Now, once again, if it says polar form, then we would be done. If it said rectangular form, then I would have to ask myself 16 cosine of 120 and 16 sine of 120. What would each of those be? Okay, so if it's cubed, we'll have 4 to the third power, CIS 3 times 60. So 4 to the third power is 64, and 3 times 60 is 180. Now we have the square root of z, which you guys learned last year. The square root can just be written as a fraction exponent of 1/2. So we can say that that's 4 to the 1/2 CIS 1/2 times 60. Well, once again, a half exponent is just a square root. And the square root of 4 is 2.